Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am going to be covering over part 2 of the summer mesh vest and talking about how I did the trim options and the final collar for this version. So as always, you can find all of the details and pictures and links on my Ravelry site. And if you did not see the first video, I used two very different weights of yarn to create a mesh stitch menswear inspired vest. Both weights, one is a 1 and one is a 3, gave me about 6 stitches on my gauge, but there was quite a bit of a difference in the rows. So the blue, which is the thinner, is about 1.5 inches across 5 rows, not even quite 2 with 6 rows. And the Bernat did come in a navy, but I chose a different blue. And I used instead the white for the white stripes in the Bernat Softy Baby. So this is a 3-weight acrylic. The blue is a bamboo yarn. And this is the second yarn that I use for the project. So both very soft drapey yarn. Now for the size medium that I demoed in the tutorial video, I highlighted in part 1 that I had 2 bundles of the blue and 1 of the white. And so, well, that was enough for me to do the collar in the white. Just a heads up, if you are wanting to do lots of white trim, you will need to buy a second bundle of the white. So in part 1, I showed you how to create the 3 pieces, the 2 front panels and the back, and then we assembled them together. And now I'm going to talk about the trim options and the collar. So this is an easy collar to make, and it is starting off with what we covered in part 1, which again was a staggered decrease. So I simply did 4 single crochet plus chain and then 5 double crochet plus chain in order to give me a staggered V-neck in order to put the polo collar on afterwards. Now you certainly can just wear this as a V-neck. You could do any type of really additional rolled collar on this, but I'm choosing to demo today the polo collar that I thought was appropriate with the stripes and the summer look. So again, if you haven't done a staggered decrease before, you can look back at the original video where I talk about the fact that I went 14 centimeters, so about 5.5 to 6 inches down to create this V-neck. Again, very adjustable if you have different sizing, different preferences, but a very easy way of creating a staggered row decrease as we finished off sort of 5 last rows of the mesh stitch. And then I finished off the trim part with the buttonholes with 2 rows of half double crochet and 1 row of single crochet. So I'm highlighting that because it also influenced then what I started to think about for the actual trim. So again, I had the white mesh stitch and then finished off this sort of buttonhole area in white. You could obviously do that in a different color as well. Now I want to think about putting the polo neck on. So I've decided I'm not wearing this as a V-neck, and I'm going to start thinking about how to adapt this to measure for the polo neck. So now we're going to decide where to put our polo neck collar and how deep we want the collar. So what I'm going to do is measure down for 11 centimeters. And decide where do I want to put the point coming out on the collar. So maybe 14, 15. I'm going to go with 13. As a rough estimate. Now, what we want to do is we want to count the stitches and make sure we have exactly the same stitches on either side. And I'm also being very careful to make sure I have lined up, because I haven't put my buttonholes in yet. I want to line up where my buttonhole is going to happen here at the bottom. And then we'll place the markers, do a count, and then what we're going to do is stitch around to make that polo neck collar. So again, I went with 13 centimeters, but anywhere between 11 to 14, just see what's comfortable for you. And again, double check from the shoulder to your marker that you have the exact same number of stitches on both sides so your collar is even. Then we are going to attach the yarn and just half double crochet from marker to marker. So again, I'm a left-handed one. I'm starting on the one side. It doesn't really matter which side you start on. We're just going to do half double crochet from marker to marker. And we're starting off in the single crochets and the trim that we had completed for the V-neck. Now, when you get to the back, you're going to hit the mesh stitch. And when you do, you just want to make sure that you're putting a half double crochet in each of the mesh posts and another half double crochet in the square opening. So again, a mesh stitch is a double crochet chain in the post and then a skip one that creates that opening. And so you just want to make sure you pick up both of those as you work across the back. When you get to the other shoulder, you'll hit the single crochets again for the V-neck, and you'll work back down to the marker that you placed. So this is a very straightforward rolled collar, nothing complicated about adding this on. And again, I'm picking up the half double crochet because that's what I used along the front to create those buttonholes. Now again, I'm doing the collar in white, but feel creative. Do whatever color combinations you love. If you run out of yarn, I wouldn't even be opposed to a one side half blue and one side half white. So get creative. And again, very easy to do. We're just going to half double crochet from marker to marker. Now, once we've created this sort of foundation row and we've hit the second marker, we are going to turn our work and put 2 half double crochets into our first stitch to do an increase. And that is what is going to create the point on this collar. So again, 2 half double crochet stitches, then you're just going to do a regular 1 half double crochet in each stitch all the way back around to the other marker. And at the other end of the row, at the last loop, you're going to again put 2 half double crochets into that last loop. Now I was going for sort of a standard t-shirt summer polo neck look, so I didn't want a huge collar, but by making these increases, you're deciding how long and deep you want the point to be. So again, feel free to experiment. If you want a longer pointier collar, you absolutely can do that with some minor modifications. So again, I'm going for the sort of standard polo collar t-shirt look, and that means I did 5 rows of these increases. So I've got my first row, which was just straight up half double crochet, and then I did 5 rows of increases till I felt I had sort of, again, the look of the polo collar shape that I wanted to go for. Not too long and not too wide. Now, you want to continue on with straight up half double crochets for however much you like on the width of this collar, the nice roll that it's going to give you. So again, once you think you've got the right point and the depth of that point, continue on to half double crochet until you're really happy with the look of the collar and the feel of the collar. So again, I would say probably at least minimum another 2, if not 3 rows of, again, straight up half double crochet with no increases to get the collar kind of standard polo look that you feel. And again, this was in the 3-weight yarn, and the little bit I show on the right here is all I had left when I was doing a medium out of the 1 ball. So again, if you want to finish the rest of the trim in white, I'm going to definitely suggest, even for a medium, you buy 2 skeins or 2 bundles of yarn. So let's look at what I did for the trim options. And again, this could be done in the blue or the white. So as I mentioned, we had the half double crochet coming up the front. So it's pretty dominant, which is why I decided to do half double crochet for the collar as well, just to keep that nice and consistent. I thought about doing double crochet on the arms, but I don't really love my arms. So maybe if you have great muscle arms, put half double crochet on and draw lots of attention to it. What I decided to do instead was a slip stitch. So I did try the wider half double crochet, didn't love it. I also showed it here. I tried it on the hem. Also didn't really love it. Drew a lot of attention to the hem, and you'll see it even curled it a bit. So I thought it just overpowered the look of this light, airy, beautiful kind of summer mesh stitch. So instead, I went back and I did slip stitch for the armholes. So again, any color, you could do it in the white, you could do it in the navy, you could split it up and do another color as an optional trim, but that was the slip stitch. And then on the final trim decisions as well, I did frog out all the half double crochet. And I will say I tried 2 rows of single crochet on the bottom hem, and I didn't really love it either. Again, thought it just dragged the vest down a bit. So my final decision was a single crochet all around the hem. And I haven't blocked this yet, but it is sort of more in keeping, I think, with the size of the mesh stitch. So again, I've got slip stitch on the arms and a single crochet along the hem. Why did I not do slip stitch, did you ask? Well, I had lots of little ends that I wanted to tie in. So if you do single crochet, you can kind of pick up all those ends and catch them into the trim as well. So again, you certainly could do slip stitches, and I even have an alternative border stitch that you could look at as well. So when I did that all the way around, it did seem in one of the photos, I really did show, because I wanted you to see all the options, I halted the blue on the bottom. And again, I don't have any white left in this medium prototype, so it does look really nice if you do the bottom off in white as well. But because I did on this one a blue hem, and then I did blue around the arms as well, I also have the versatile vest, and on it I put just the thinnest bamboo blue kind of slip stitch up along the double-breasted vest that I have made. And I really like it. I wear it all the time. So that's what I decided here, rather than sort of having the more abrupt difference between the blue and the white, and you might love that, so if you do, keep it. I did just a single strand, so I should point out that my hem on the bottom is a double strand of the blue. I did a single strand up to make just a very dainty kind of hint of blue on both sides of the front, and I stop it before I get to the collar. So I just go up to where I have joined the collar to the top. So that is my final sort of trim options. Again, you could do slip stitch, you could do other choices, and I'm really looking forward to how this turned out. I'm going to go ahead and block it so I get a lovely point. And as you can see here, you also could do an amazing shawl collar version. So if you don't know how to do a rolled shawl collar, look back at my winter vest version, because I do have how you do a shawl collar. Again, simple to do because we've already created the V-neck, and you could make any length of shawl collar you wanted if you prefer it over the polo collar. Thanks again for watching, subscribing. If you purchase our patterns, all of our proceeds are going to charity, so thank you. We really appreciate your support. Give us again some thumbs up or thumbs down as we try and decide how we're going to grow the channel and what is making people happy or what you're finding of interest. And I look forward to seeing all your great vest ideas and prototypes.